On occasion, dogs will run around the backyard, front yard, street, and they'll get their nail caught on something, and it will break. And sometimes you can just trim the nail. And
You can't see very well, but sometimes the nail will just bend right at the nail bed. And when it's cracked up into the nail bed, infections can set in to the nail bed area and they can be hard to fight. So I want to make sure and get all that broken nail off as much as I can. So I'm disinfecting the area, and then Isabel's going to inject with some local anesthetic, some lidocaine in several places. So our sedated Rottweiler can't feel it and also will reduce the pain when she wakes up. So if it were your dog, you may try to even pull it away if it's very loose and your dog's a nice dog and you have help, or you might get a muzzle and try to pull it off if it's really loose. But I have to sedate most dogs and pull it off all the different pieces away from the nail bed so it doesn't start an infection. If a nail is cracked up into the nail bed, then it could get infected. So I usually pull all the pieces away and then use an antibiotic like ceflexin for big dogs. This Rottweiler is going to be on antibiotics for probably about 10 days. You can also use peroxide, some neosporin, but I'm going to get this one fixed up with a little crazy glue because it seals the wound.
see, now it's starting to look pretty again. Look at how it's looking pretty. It's a big red nail. So we're going to put a little quick step on there, so you can either use quick stop or sometimes I'll use vet bond, which is like a crazy glue. Just try a little vet bond. Couple drops. What that does is it makes a seal and stops the blood bleeding. So there's a little blood right there at the very end. Stop bleeding. Stop bleeding. Stop bleeding. It won't stop. Could you? I'll put a little quick stop on there. So I'll put, for that part that's not going to stop bleeding, we'll try a little quick stop. Our quick stop specialist, Isabel, is going to put it on there. And so it's, most of it's sealed with a vet bond, and this Rottweiler doesn't like you fooling with his feet at all. So we don't want to put bandages on because he hates that, and we don't want to have to mess with this getting infected afterwards. So we put a little more quick stop on there. Quick stop specialist, please. Thank you. I think that was a perfect application.
Well, I'm sure that looked gross to a lot of you, and it's very painful. However, if it's a very loose piece, sometimes you as the owner or friend can actually just give a short, sharp yank and it will come off if it's only attached to a little bit of the nail bed. If it's attached, if it's firmly attached and very painful, or if it's bloody, and if the dog is very miserable, then it's probably best to take it into the emergency clinic. However, it's not an emergency. It can be dealt with a day later or two. You can wash it up with a little soap and water, like Dawn detergent. You can put a little neosporin on the nail area. You can also use aspirin at 5 milligrams per pound twice a day for the pain, and that will hold you until you can get to your normal veterinarian. Well, that sounded weird. It's like your veterinarian's abnormal. But anyway, in our case, what we did is because it was firmly attached to the nail bed and broken up, I had to use sedation, pretty heavy sedation. And I knew that the Rottweiler did not like his feet touched, so I decided to use vet bond, which is like a crazy glue, and some quick stop, which is a powder that you buy from the pet store. When you trim nails, sometimes the nails will bleed, and quick stop just makes the nails stop bleeding. So that is also something you can use to make the blood, if there's bleeding, to make the blood stop. Anyway, and so I pulled all the nail away, and then we used antibiotics. We happened to use ceflexin on this big Rottweiler. Also, I sent him home with some pain reliever for a few days, the Rimadyl. It's an NSAID, and I use that for 3 or 4 or 5 days. And also, there was the injection of lidocaine to keep the pain down for a few days. So, anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. Kind of grossed you out, probably, but that's what we do. We see quite a bit of broken nails in practice. And if you're still listening, go to the website Dog Dish Diet. Keep checking. I have a new book called the Dog Diet Answer Book, which I worked real hard on to update my previous two attempts at explaining nutrition, which is very controversial and really hard to explain sometimes, but it'll be there at Dog Dish Diet. It's called the Dog Diet Answer Book. Have a great day.